Milliken is this morning.
Biting my tongue, Paul.
Yeah, good morning. I am not Godzilla. I am not King Kong. I am Paul Milliken, feeling very tall this morning, hanging out in Lawrenceville at Miniature Designs. You know, I'm always on the hunt for my next house. I think I found it. I would totally live here. It might be a little too small for me, but it is beautiful. It's one of the many miniatures that you'll find here. And when I tell you, this is a fascinating hobby, you ain't seen nothing yet. Just wait. We've got much more coming up after the break.
This morning, and Paul, it's a small world after all.
Mm-hmm. You're lucky to let Katie talk to you,
Go ahead and
too.
make fun of me for being tiny. Go ahead, do it now.
What are your thoughts on that?
Too easy today.
Yeah, I got something for you.
I've never felt so powerful. I love it. No, listen, when I walked in here and I saw this little TV in here that was playing Good News Man, I said, finally, we shrunk the size of Buck's head. It keeps getting bigger and bigger every day. Finally, he's been shrunk down to size. I love it. Let me tell you, I knew this was going to be a really cool morning. I had no idea until I walked into Miniature Designs that this was going to be so amazing. Again, this is a hub for the miniatures community, and there's a big show coming up that's a perfect time for you to learn more about this fascinating hobby. And this is the woman behind the store. Bev, it's great to see you. How are you?
Good, real good.
I am so happy to be here. You and your husband have owned this shop for about 30 years. Tell me about the shop. If people have never been to Miniature Designs before, what will they find inside?
Anything tiny, from dollhouses to furniture.
I love it. And when she says anything tiny, she means anything tiny, from food to animals to furniture to people to all kinds of home furnishings. It really is a pretty spectacular collection. How did you get into this?
I received the dollhouse our first year of anniversary.
Okay.
And I just always have loved miniatures.
Yeah.
And anything small. And we started the business just out of the love of miniatures.
Yeah, and the rest is history. 30 years later, it is your life, and it's the life of so many out there, too. I didn't realize this was such a big hobby, but a lot of people out there are into this, and I want to differentiate. You know, we think of little kids have dollhouses and play with dollhouses, but these are far more intricate, what you're doing. I mean, these are really detailed, and in many cases, they're miniature replicas of real places and real things, right?
Correct. Many times people are trying to emulate something that they saw or loved or brought memories.
Yeah, and again, you can hand make a lot of this, or you can buy stuff right here at Miniature Designs. Now, coming up next weekend, the Atlanta Miniature Society is having a big show, the 39th annual. What's going to happen at that show?
There's going to be several vendors showing all their wares that they create, and also we'll have over 75 to 100 displays of different items that artists or members have done.
And when you say displays, some of them are like wild, right?
Yes, they could be dollhouses, room boxes.
Yeah.
I mean, anything that you can think of in real life, you'll see in miniature.
Yeah, really quickly, we're kind of showing right here the gamut that you run. I want to just mention what this is right here. This is cool. This is actually being made right now. Tell me who's making it and what this is made out of.
This is done by two 7-year-olds and 8-year-olds, and they've constructed this out of cereal boxes. Wow. And the outside is just sand paint, so that it gives it the sturdiness.
Wow.
And they're working on it, so.
That's so, kids, when your parents say no more frosted flakes, you're eating too much sugar, you say, I need the boxes for my dollhouse that I'm making. It's all for my hobby. Thank you so much for letting us be here, Bev.
You're welcome.
This is so cool. And I have some exciting news. Buck, I'm always on the lookout for you.
Yes,
you know that. I always want to help you out. You're always looking for a new burger place. You can actually come here for your next Burgers with Buck. Here it is.
Wow.
I got you fries too. I didn't know if the burger would be enough to satisfy you.
It's not even
So there it is, the next Burgers with Buck at Miniature Designs.
That's so
There
cool.
you go. It's just your size.
I love it.
I've never.
Thank you so much. Well, they say it's a small world after all, and nowhere is that more true than at a unique Lawrenceville shop. Miniature Designs is a hub for local miniature enthusiasts, and many of them are preparing for a big show that's coming up next weekend. Good Day Atlanta's Paul Milliken is live at Miniature Designs this morning. And Paul, you're feeling a bit taller today, aren't you?
I am. I grew overnight. Finally, everybody in public walks up and says, "You're so short in person," but they're not saying that here at Miniature Designs. And by the way, Sharon, if you were watching last hour, we had that amazing diorama that had a little TV that played Good Day Atlanta, but we couldn't show it again because your outsized beauty and personality, it couldn't contain itself on that small screen. So we had to get something a little bit bigger for you. But some amazing stuff here at Miniature Designs. This is the world of miniatures, and I'm telling you, it is really spectacular just to look around and see the creativity that's out there. And the owner of the shop is hanging out with me. Bev, it's great to see you. How are you?
Good, excellent.
Okay, we are so glad that we are here this morning because this is a world I don't even think I really knew existed. I knew about dollhouses, I've seen dioramas, but this is an amazing hobby. How did you get into this?
Just loved it. Received a dollhouse on my first anniversary, and just always loved miniatures and creating them. And
the rest is history. Yeah, you and your husband started this shop about 30 years ago. And what's interesting is that the miniature community, you were saying before, is, pardon the pun, miniature. I mean, you all get to know each other, and it's like a family within this hobby, right?
Oh, for sure. We all exchange ideas and have fun and laugh and enjoy learning and creating.
Yeah, and to that end, you do classes here. And in fact, this is the example of something when a lot of people get together and work, they can do. Now, I want to ask you about this. This is a beautiful miniature. A lot of the stuff you can buy at the shop. How do you make the water like that?
This is made with Envirotex, and it's a compound that you mix together, and then it hardens to about 24 hours to 36 hours. And you could also add layers to it, so you can have fish at different heights.
So that's how you have those fish down there. You do it in layers.
That is correct. And then add florals and ducks and frogs and rabbits, whatever you want to
It's
add.
amazing, the detail. And I got to tell you, Sharon, when we first got here, the top was on this caravan, and when you took it off and you see all the detail, I mean, our minds were blown when we looked in. There's little books in there and all kinds of food and the flickering lights as well. Tell me about the lighting. You guys do that here in the shop too?
Yes, it's a 12-volt lighting. It will not hurt you. We also have the flickering units that'll make the candles look like real candles.
Wow.
And that was created by a local gentleman here.
Very cool. And then fans of television might recognize this and this. Tell me what these are here.
This is done by famous art.
Miniaturists.
Miniaturists, Joanne and Chip Gaines, and Fred Cobbs actually created this.
So we love Chip and Joanna Gaines, watch them on TV. This is a
them.
perfect replica of their look. That is the coolest thing.
The chicken coop and the house, and Fred Cobbs completed this, a local artisan out of Beaufort.
I love that. Very cool. Now, really quickly, big show is coming up next weekend, and it's a perfect chance to learn more about what being a miniaturist is all about. So tell me about the show and sale. What happens there?
Basically, there's a big display of about 75 to 100 different creations by either members or artisans. We also have vendors there that will be showing all their miniature products for sale.
Yeah.
And it's a great, fun event. We also do lots of fundraisers too.
Yeah, fantastic. Well, thank you so much for letting us be here. I'm telling you, if you come to the store, and you have to, Miniature Designs in Lawrenceville, you'll be amazed at what you find in here. They have miniature everything. And just to prove it, Sharon, I thought, what could I get for Sharon Lawson? What does she love? Well, she loves shoes. So never say I didn't get you anything. Here's an expensive pair of designer shoes.
What?
Just for you, Sharon, all right?
Goodness.
I mean, look at those.
I love
High
that.
fashion right
Are you
there,
really going
right?
to bring them for me? Are you really going to? That's quite impressive, though.
Maybe. We'll see.
They're
I might keep them for me.
Very talented, Paul. Thank you. You could probably have them too. Okay, the Atlanta Miniature Society's 39th annual show and sale takes place next weekend, September 28th and 29th at the DoubleTree by Hilton Atlanta Perimeter in Dunwoody. It's a small world after all.